Gather round your town when things are on the up or things are falling down. Celebrate the high times, stay passionate through the lows. Find strength in the chaos, no matter which way it goes. It's not easy being blue. Heartbreak comes in many ways, the hardest times, the darkest days, but all these things get washed away with us, with us. The highs might not come every day, but memories do, and memories stay. Enjoy that moment anyway with us, with us, with us. It's not easy being blue. It's not easy being blue.
Good evening, everyone, and welcome to the View from Medway FanCast and the 25-26 season preview in partnership with Gillingham FC Supporters Club and Her Game 2, and sponsored by Snodhurst Used Car Sales and Service Station and Wiki Creative. It's been a while, so welcome back. But I am joined this evening by David, co-host Warren, and Don Ballard. So, boys, we are on the wrong screen. Yeah, how are we, boys?
All good.
Good, mate. All good, mate.
There we go. So we will jump straight into the Views news, and I'll hand over to Warren quickly. So, Warren, take it away.
Yeah, good evening, everyone. Welcome back to the View from the Medway and the Views news. There is something that's not on there on the screen that I'd like to talk about, and that's the passing of a big Gillingham fan this week of Mr. Dave Edwards. Did a lot for Gillingham Football Club. I know he had Nicky Southall, Matt Bryant stay with him as lodgers during their time at the football club, amongst others. Dave was a really good bloke, funny as anything. And I'd just like to say my heart goes out to Sheila, his wife, and Sean, who've lost their husband and father. So, big respect to Dave on the show. Okay, so that's my tribute to Dave. So we go on to Views News, and do pre-season games matter? So I'm going to go to Chris first, and I've not been to a pre-season friendly this season. It's the first time ever, and it doesn't look like I'll be going to any, because mainly I go to pre-season games to go and see new grounds, and as we had none for me this year, I couldn't be bothered. So, Chris, Edfleet away. Tell me about how we performed.
I don't think we were terrible. I think we created a lot of chances. It was just quite huff and puff, and then they scored, and then they had a penalty. And see, I don't think they necessarily matter. For me, they don't in the whole. But when you're playing Ebbsfleet and National League South, and I mean no disrespect for that, you kind of expect that we're gonna win, or we're gonna at least do something. I get it at Dover because it was our first pre-season game. We've been away for a while, a first pre-season game. I then kind of expected it against Luton and Reading because they're a league above us. But when you're playing National League South team, you've got to be scoring. And it's an age-old problem for us. We just can't score goals. We weren't terrible. I'm not saying we were a bad team on the day or in the evening. But yeah, you've just got to score goals. Like, we just didn't have anything in the repertoire that actually resembled anything that we were actually going to do anything with it. So yeah, that for me, I had a bit of a meltdown the other day. It wasn't a meltdown, it was an opinion. I think we were rubbish. I think that if you're playing a team at that level, you should be scoring goals. Simple as that.
Yeah, cheers, Chris. Dave, have you been to any pre-season friendlies this season?
Yes, I went to the Reading one at home.
And what was your opinion of the Reading game?
I thought first off, I thought we looked quite good, and only because I think we had more of a what we would classify first team players playing in it, and then second half we went to quite a youthful side. But a bit like what Chris said, it's even in the first half of the Reading game, I can only really remember one chance. I think Dak had a chance, ball got pulled back to him, and he blazed it over the bar. But other than that, we're just not creating again. And to the question, does pre-season matter? I think it does. Obviously, fitness is key, but you also want to get used to scoring goals. And I remember going, I think it was Folkestone away once, and I think Gills won something like 10-0, I think. And Simeon Jackson was here at the time. I think he got a hat-trick. And back then, we were still playing 245 teams, but we were a lot more ruthless, where now it feels like players are still scared to shoot. And they're worried of what fans are going to think. And I think we need to get used to scoring goals and working on stuff, because, again, like what Chris said, we could end up having the same problems as normal, and we need to get it fixed. And pre-season's the perfect time when you're playing teams from National League South, and I think Dover are even lower than that. I might be wrong; they might be South, but I think they're lower than that now. And again, we only scored one against them. And fans pay their money even in pre-season. They want to score goals, and when you're not doing that, it doesn't look good.
Dom, what do pre-season games mean to you? I mean, you're a bit younger than most of us. You're only a couple of years younger than me. I know that.
Don't know much worse on me than it does you.
as a younger fan, what does pre-season mean for you?
To be honest, I'm not overly bothered. I've not been to any this season. Didn't intend to go to any this season. I've quite enjoyed the break, actually, to be honest, without having any football. I think I can see why there's been a bit of head loss in the last week or so, because we have had 3 or 4 years of where we can still see the same issues. It doesn't seem like they're getting resolved. But then again, you look at it the same way, as that they're coming back. It's about minutes. We've got some new players in there, new ideas trying to get across. If we come October, November, we're still, we're mid-table, not scoring, then, shout to the heavens about the problems. But right now, there's not real need for major head loss. There's a right to have concern, but I don't think an overreaction is really required at this moment in time.
Yeah, I agree. Being someone of a slightly older than Dom generation, pre-season games for me, I can remember one year we played Middlesbrough, Ipswich and Man United at home, and we won 2, drew 1, and I actually thought, what a team! We're gonna get promoted this year. This is our team. Went into the season full of optimism, and all 3 clubs were in the Premiership, or League One as it was then, and we went out in the season and we got relegated. So after that, pre-season friendlies didn't really matter to me. The only thing that matters to me is going to new grounds. We haven't had any this year, so I couldn't be bothered. But the question for all of you is, why are pre-season friendlies so boring? So, Chris, I'll go to you first.
I don't think they're necessarily boring. I think it's obviously 90% of them are getting minutes in the legs. I think that's pretty much the whole point of it, really. Don't think that they're boring. I think they're just there for what they stand for, really. It is what it is.
David?
Big thing for me is overseas tours of the Premier League clubs. You can't attract the big games anymore. You see the 2 home games we've had are League One sides. The fact that you can't get a London Premier League team because they're probably in Australia or America, I think that's a concern. The fact that lower league clubs can't get the money and gate receipts for hosting attractive friendlies anymore. And as I said, did Reading and Luton really want to come to Priestfield for a friendly? Probably not. And yeah, I think that's a problem. Premier League clubs need to find a way outside of the money to help lower league clubs by playing pre-season friendlies with them.
Dom?
I think it's more to do with, you come back after a little break. You're just there to basically get back up to speed. You're not going to run around like you're playing like Man United in the third round of the FA Cup against Dover and Dartford, etc. It's just them games. They're like niggly little things that you just have to do and get done, and then the prop stuff starts, and you'll see probably a different transition in like effort and desire.
Yeah, I mean, for me, pre-season now, I mean, back in the day, guys, we used to have a Kent Cup competition. And we played Charlton, Millwall, and Aldershot in a mini league, and at least there was points on the board to be played for, and they were quite often the only 3 friendlies that we had back then. My thinking is would it be better to have the pizza, milk, car windscreen, pineapple drink trophy, right? Would it be better to have that at the start of the season, right, before the league season starts? So we have meaningful games before the season starts and we're in a competition rather than the dross of going to some of these teams or playing teams that, as David alluded to, don't want to come here or do they necessarily want to come here? So, Chris, what's your thoughts on that?
I think. Do you know? See this Kent Cup that we always have. I think that maybe that would be a good idea if we weren't to go abroad, because obviously Como was a one-off. I think it was just a little bit of a thing for the Gallisons to say, we're here, support us kind of thing. But maybe if we're not going to go abroad, maybe like the Kent Cup, a little bit of competitiveness with that. I think we spoke about that in the cricketers last week, didn't we, Warren? And have every team in Kent, we just have a little bit of a competition there. I don't think that it's a bit of a waste if you think about it, because if we're just looking at getting minutes in legs, then it doesn't matter who we play really, because we're still running around the pitch at the same pace. We're still doing this, we're still doing that. So I think, if it, like a Kent Cup type thing where it's a little bit of a competition, a little bit of something that we can actually get our teeth into as fans as well, like, it's a little bit of a cup, then maybe that would be a bit better than, meaningless friendlies.
David?
Yeah, I quite like that idea. And I think, like Chris, I think we discussed this last week, because they do it in Scotland with their League Cup or some sort of cup.
Yeah.
They play in pre-season. I don't know if the Premier League clubs in Scotland are in it, but it seems to work from there. And I'm sure you can have a few pre-season friendlies before to get up to scratch, and then get into a competitive cup competition before the season starts. I don't see any problem with that. It's whether, again, for example, if it was the Pizza Cup trophy, the Premier League clubs do have an under 20 or under 21s team in it, and whether they would want them in it at that point of the season would be down to them.
Dom?
Yeah, I don't think it's a bad idea, really. But then again, no one wants that competition in the first place anyway, whether it's played in July or, throughout the season. It's a nice idea. The Kent Senior Cup thing's a good idea. It's just whether, we try and get the Kent Senior Cup thing ahead or something. It'd be a good thing to try and change up. It might, bring gate receipts up, especially in the warmer months as well, because no one wants to, play like Ebbsfleet or a Dover in like November on a Tuesday night. No one's really going to be interested in that. But maybe in the summer you might get a bigger gate for that sort of thing.
Yeah, I agree. I mean, either the Pizza Cup or the Kent Cup revised, for me, is quite a good idea. It just, as you said, brings in possibly a little bit more revenue, and we can play teams away. We don't have to play them at home in the Kent Cup, but they just have to rejig their competition, I think. But I think all the clubs would be quite happy to play something a little bit more than a friendly, just to get the minutes up. You still have unlimited subs. You haven't got to keep it to 5 subs and whatever. I would just like to see something a bit more competitive if we're not going to go away on tour somewhere, even if it's to Scotland, Ireland, Wales, or wherever. I'd like to see us go away. For me, it's a good way of getting fans and the players together. It's a bit of a good PR, and I think it's just good for the football club pre-season tours. I know they're expensive. I know that there's a lot of hidden costs we wouldn't know about, but I can't see why we can't do it, personally. So we'll move on. Different season, same issues. So a lot of what I've heard, as I've said, I've not been to any of the games. A lot of what I've heard is no goals. We're not creating enough. As it's shown, we are conceding goals. So, Dave, what do you think the major problem that's come out of pre-season is for us?
For me, it will always come down to goals. But the other thing I've noticed is, I think Gareth's never going to tell us what his preferred formation is, but I think they need to stick to something during pre-season. And I think we started the first few with a back 4-2-3-1, and at Ebbsfleet it looked like it went back to wing backs again. I think they need to find something that works and can get our attacking, creative players in the team and doing something that help us going forward. And whether if he thinks that's wing backs and we can be creative, then we do it. In my opinion, I would prefer to be a back 4 and do a 4-2-3-1 and get Bode out wide. And again, whether that's trying to figure out the enigma that is Jack Nolan and get him firing on one side, get Dak in the middle. They've just got to find something that works. And in my eyes, to score goals, you need creative players on the pitch. And for me, playing a back 5 hampers that. So I would be trying to get, whether that's again a 4-4-2, a 4-2-3-1, something like that, to get attacking players on the pitch to help us score goals and win games.
Dom, what, you're like me, you haven't been to any games. From afar, what do you and obviously we've seen a lot of comments on social media. What do you think are the same issues that need addressing?
I think the key thing for me is pace and people and runners at people. What I'd say about this squad is that we've got a lot of players that are similar players. So when you make changes, they're exactly like for like. So there's no like different impacts. I would say the probably only 2 people that will actually get the ball and run at people are Bode, and no disrespect to him, but half the time maybe he doesn't know what he's doing in the first place. So he's a bit like, hit and miss. And then you've got Aaron Rowe, who ended the season really, really well, and he now hasn't even been involved in pre-season because he's injured again. So that's probably hindered Ainsworth's, maybe tactics, style of play a little bit, thinking that he'd be fit. But I just don't think we've addressed the lack of pace. Like, we haven't had that winger since probably maybe Jordan Graham that actually gets the ball. When he gets on the ball, everyone's excited. Something's going to happen. There is not really anyone in this current squad that you think, right, he's going to get the ball here. He's going to take on 1, 2, 3 players, put a great ball in the box. It's not there. It hasn't been there for like 2, 3, 4 years. And that's the big thing for me.
Yeah. Chris, you've been to probably more games than all of us put together. What do you believe are the major issues within the team that you've seen so far?
It's the same as last season, mate. It's the huff and puff. Like, it's the we start off on the front foot and we have a couple of chances and we put a few crosses in, nothing comes of it, and then on the break they score, and then the shoulders drop and the heads drop, and then we then have to wait till the second half to see something that resembles a team that want to go forward again. It's a rinse and repeat. And I appreciate it's pre-season, but you're still looking at that from last season, right? We start on the front foot. We have a couple of chances. We don't score. We then concede. And it's just becoming a little bit too much of a repetitive thing now where we need to nip it in the bud. We need to start doing something about it. It's okay for 3, 4, 5 managers to say we don't score goals, we're going to sort it out. We'll actually sort it out then. Like, really do sort it out, because there seems to be a fundamental issue within this squad and previous squads where we just can't score goals. And I think we spoke about it on the Facebook group earlier. I think Dane Oliver was the last player to score like an actual notable amount of goals within a Gillingham football team. And that's worrying. Like, it's okay telling us that we're going to score goals. That's fine. Tell us all you want. But until it happens, we ain't going to believe you.
Yeah, I agree. And for me, although it's a different season, at the beginning of last season, I put in a question to the ME7 podcast when they was interviewing Mark Bonner. And I said, we need a left back. We need a really strong leader to be introduced into the team, and either a midfielder at the back, some proper hard man to drive this team forward. And we needed pace, as Dom alluded to. We needed pace in the side. And basically, Mark Bonner laughed me off, but I still see that they're the 3 areas we need to improve. You're never going to break teams down with no pace. You might have the raw strength of Joe Bodie, but where does he fit in? I think we've signed Seb Palmer Holden, and to me, he's just like for Nevitt, where we've signed a striker that can run all day, chase players down, work hard, but don't score any goals. And I can't see at the moment. I can't see the point of signing him when we haven't signed players that can come through with pace to create openings for our strikers, whether we play 1, 2, or 3 up front. You need to be able to create. I haven't seen anything about Bradley Dack creating much in the stuff that I've seen so far, the match reports. I just worry that we're still lacking in the creative. We've got players. We've got hundreds of players who can run all day. We've got hundreds of players that can stick to formation. We've got hundreds of players that can do as they're told. But have we got anything that little bit extra that can unlock games and make things exciting and get us on the front foot and get the crowd up on their feet? I don't see it. At this moment in time, I don't see it. And we've signed Sam Vokes, a 35-year-old. Now, no disrespect, I've never rated him. I didn't rate him in the Premiership. I didn't rate him in the Championship. And I didn't rate him when he first started. So, what's a 35-year-old who's near the end of his career, right? He won't have done as much hard work on a training pitch because he's still in non-contact. So he's still not, he's probably working at about 50, 60% of what he can do with regards to his broken arm. I mean, I've never had a broken arm, so I don't know whether he can run or not. To be honest,
you can run. It's not like your leg's not broken, is it?
Yeah.
Like, you can still run. You can still do things like
still
that.
Balance, and it's still, you still got to pump your arms, haven't you, to run? And with a broken arm, depending on how bad it is, and obviously he's had a plate put in, I would find it very difficult. But he ain't going to be pacey, is he, at 35?
Yeah, but he doesn't need to be pacey, mate. He doesn't need to be pacey. Sam Vokes has never been about running at defenders. Sam Vokes has been...
What has Sam Vokes been about? So, Chris, what's Sam Vokes been about?
Sam Vokes has been, and always has been, that player that will get you a header, that player that will get you like 6 yards, get you a goal, slip it in. He's never been that run at defenders, never been that player. He's never been that player. So at 35, I think he will still do well at League 2 level.
Chris, who's going to provide those crosses so he can score goals in the 6-yard box? Because
you'd like to think Hutton,
as as you've alluded to, and Dave alluded to about the Reading game, we've not been creating chances.
No.
So, what is the point? We've still
No,
got.
I get it. Right.
I was going to say, off the back of this, Warren, are you now looking and surprised that we literally offered pretty much every player that was out of contract a contract, considering everything we've just said about what they need? Is there anyone we've re-signed that you're now thinking, oh, we probably should have gone and got someone else?
Yeah,
because we've actually really only signed 2 players, I think, that weren't here on loan or a Gills player last season.
This football club must be the only football club in the 92 that continually go back to players that have served us because 1 or 2 people like them, right? Conor Masterson, soaked for 2 years. He had a good end of season last year, right, when his contract was up and he's trying to look for either another club or a new contract, right? But then he started to play. Andy Smith, was that he had a good loan spell, but is he actually ready? Who else did we re-sign? Mackenzie was probably the only one I was happy with, but we've got Combini, right? Who can play midfield. We've got Lil. They're all just hard-working players. And I'm sorry, but with Mackenzie, I would have signed him, but I would have tried to get rid of others. And maybe some of these players are on too much contract, but I just think we re-signed too many players. Unless this 2-year plan that Gareth and the board have got means that we'll get through this year, we'll stay up, and then next year we'll start again. I don't know.
Yeah. I think personally that's kind of the way that they're going with it. Because if you look at the squad, like there's lots of players that are out of contract next season, so it might be a hard reset. But then I'll ask that question. Then in the Views News, are we too negative? And I'll go with you, David.
Is this Gills or fans?
Just fans. Yeah.
Yes. And I think it does go back to, I know there's been the press conference when Ainsworth got here about the 2-year plan, but I think before that, I do think obviously the end of the Scally era was not great. And then obviously all the big promises when the Gallansons came in got everyone's hopes up. And I think because of that, we have expected to do better than we're doing. And I think that's where a lot of the negativity comes. The goal scoring, is obviously, like you said earlier, has been a problem since Oliver left. And his good season was when COVID was on. None of us got to see him really score any of the goals. It was apart from on iFollow. So that's been a problem for a long time. But social media as well probably made people, they can air their views a lot more now. Like back in the day when you went to football, unless you spoke to the people around you or you had mates, and to be fair, not many of my mates were even Gills fans. So you didn't really have people to moan at. But now with social media, you can air your thoughts, people reply, and it gets a little bit out of hand at times. But yeah, I'd like to think now with the 2-year plan, I think people's expectations might be a little different. I don't think many fans will be thinking of promotion this year. But if there is a big reset next year, I think the pressure will be back on again next year, and fans' expectations will grow again.
Yeah. Yeah, Dom, yourself?
Yeah, well, I'd say the thing about being negative is that when you keep seeing the same thing over and over and over again, you just get bored, and at one point you snap.
Yeah.
And we keep how many times we've been on here and said exactly the same things. We don't have pace. We've got like for like players, or there's people injured. We keep like chopping and changing things. It's like, at what point does someone just go, right, we actually do need to change something properly? I understand probably right now, as they've alluded to, it's a 2-year plan. We probably can't shift who we wanted to shift. I could think of quite a few players. I won't name them, but if you look at the team coming out on the first game of the season, there's probably a couple in there that won't even make the squad that are probably still under contract. Now that then becomes a separate issue. Is then if they don't start playing, how do you keep them happy? If they don't want to leave because their contract's good, and they're not playing, we then have sort of issues again, where we then go, right, is there any bad eggs in the team? Like last season, there was quite a few it was brought up on topic. There's bad eggs, right? If when you're not playing, you're not happy, right? You might be on good money, but when you're not playing, you're not happy. And then does that becoming a separate issue that Gareth's got to deal with? And I think 100% for me, they said it's a 2-year plan for a reason. If we do better this season, great, fantastic. If we somehow get someone that carries us with 15, 20 goals, amazing. But if it doesn't happen, they said it's a 2-year plan for a reason. So you just got to, as much as we've been put through pretty much crap, unexciting crap the last 3-4 years, you just got to get through this season, see where it takes us. And then if this time next year we're in League 2 again, hopefully the summer's a bit more proactive. We actually sign what we need to sign once we've got rid of people we don't want. And then we look to the following season. Or somehow a miracle happens and Gareth gets us in the top 7, we win the playoffs or something, then great, the 2-year plan's a year ahead. That's the way you just got to look at it. I just think when you keep seeing the same things with your eyes, you just get bored of seeing it. And that's when, you get a bit of tension there. People were saying the same things, agreeing, and then they're arguing about the same things that they're agreeing on in the end.
Yep. Yeah, and before we move on to the reason for the show, because we could talk about this all night, lads. Warren, are we too negative? You've mentioned the negatives that we have. Do you think that we're a negative as a fan base as a whole?
Yes. I think for me, I'm just stating the painfully obvious, right? And a lot of people see what I see. Maybe they don't. I just think that re-signing the same old players, when you see social media during the summer, an ex-Jill comes up ready for transfer and people get all over it. And I'm thinking, why? We got rid of them for a reason. Either they didn't want to be here, they didn't want to play for this football club, they didn't want to play for us fans, or they were shit. And we dumped them. And
when that me in the summer with what was his? I can't remember who it was now. I can't remember who it was, and I messaged you and I was like, I think we should re-sign him. He left Wickham.
Brandon Hanlon.
Yeah. I said about Hanlon, and I was like, yeah, we should re-sign him. I was like, no, we're not re-signing Hanlon.
Honestly, I just don't get it. Why have we got this fixation with ex-players, right? And again, with our transfer policy this year, we've got a recruitment team. What have they been doing trying to get 2 players signed this summer?
Well, we're not going to go into recruitment on this show, mate.
But for me, it's not about being negative, because I at the end of the day, we end up where we are, whether we get relegated or promoted, right? Or we finish mid-table. I go, no matter what, I go out for a day out when I go to away games. Home games, I go for a few beers with my mates and I'm happy. Right? I gave up worrying about football results, whatever. But as I alluded to before we came on air, I just think football's too robotic now. It's just samey. I mean, you could put 4 teams in the same colours, play 2 different games, and you wouldn't know who was who. Because the identity of nearly every team is the same as each other. And you're not allowed maverick players. You're not allowed to have players that are prepared to do something different. They've all got their jobs to do and they must do it. And if they don't, they get lambasted. So I think it's a football problem. I think it's a manager and coach problem. But I think it's a fans problem because the expectations of not losing is higher than the expectations of winning.
That's it. Right, so we will move on to the segment of the show that we are here for. We are talking about the 25-26 season preview. So I will go with Dom first and his top 7 and bottom 2. So Dom's gone for MK Dons to finish top, Bristol Rovers 2nd, Chesterfield 3rd, Swindon 4th, controversial, Colchester 5th, Salford 6th, and Fleetwood 7th. Then the bottom 2 of Harrogate and Newport, and he's got us in 8th. So talk to us about your reasoning behind your prediction, Dom.
So I think we've all seen MK Dons have probably broke the bank this summer. I think the difference being with them is they've now got a manager that's been there and done it in multiple leagues. So I think if they don't romp it, then they'll probably be in a bit of trouble if they don't even get the top 7, really. I think that the thing with my top 7 is that either or they got both. They've got a goal scorer or a manager that's been there and done it. And if they've got both, they're going to have a really good season. Obviously, Bristol Rovers brought back Darryl Clark, great manager for this level. And, you know, he's been there and done it with them multiple times. So I think they'll be up there and they've recruited quite well. Chesterfield, you know, again, great manager, Paul Cook, good experienced heads, you know, like John Flex, Tom Naylors. They're, again, players that have been there and done it, got the receipts for it. Swindon, obviously, they ended last season really well under Ian Holloway, and they've got a great goal scorer in Harry Smith, and they've also recruited quite well. Colchester, I put them in there because they're quite hard to beat, and also they've got quite a good managerial team in the Cowleys. So I did put them up there because I think they'll have quite a good season. Salford, again, they've got Carl Robinson, again, another good manager for the level, and they've got a goal scorer in Cole Stockton. And I put Fleetwood in there because out of the teams that Arsenal has played last season, both home and away, Fleetwood, I thought, were quite decent. And they've recruited well. They signed that left back from Grimsby. I think it's Denver Hume, who I think got like 14 assists from left back last season. So again, they recruit well and they've got a decent manager. So that's why I've gone with that. 9 times out of 10, that top 7 is based on 1 goal scorers, good managerial appointments, or a combination of both.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. And your reason for 8 for us?
Well, I think it's like what we alluded to earlier. I just still think it's going to be the same teething issues as we've had the last 3 or 4 years. You know, there's still another month for the transfer window to go. There could be movement out. Hopefully there is. But if there is movement out, hopefully the 1 or 2 that, you know, Gareth wants to bring in are players that are going to make us better and change us and make impact. Because if they're just like for likes, it's not going to change. It's, you know, it's still, you know, if you butter your bread on the same side, it's going to be butter on the same side. So, you know, it's just one of those things. And unless that does happen, we will, I think, just miss out. What I would say about Gareth is that I think we will claw a lot more points in certain games, like under, like, you know, the likes of Bonner, Clements, Coleman. We didn't have that little bit of tenacity, whereas under Gareth, I think we will have that little bit, and it might get us, you know, that extra 10, 15 points to put us there, but we might not just not have enough just to get over that line with the teams around us that we're looking to compete with, because I think they've just got that little bit of extra firepower and that bit of quality in the key areas.
Yeah, fair enough, mate. And obviously with Harrogate and Newport going down, like, what was your reasoning behind that?
I think Harrogate have lost quite a few decent players of their like core of their team. Also, they've not got the biggest budget. I think they will struggle. And Newport, I think they sacked their manager, didn't they, just before the end of the season? And they've appointed. I do follow a couple of Newport fans on X, and they weren't too happy with their new appointment. And then again, I don't think they really score many goals apart from when they play us, of course. Which is, mind you, that is the same for most teams. But no, I think they'll both struggle. I don't think any of the promoted teams that came up will struggle. I think they'll do well, especially Barnet, who I expect to get top half.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's fair enough, mate. That's fair. So, Warren, we go with you next, mate. And your top 7 and bottom 2. You don't necessarily have to go into much detail as Dom did, as much as we appreciate it, but the reasons why.
I don't know who signed who. Chesterfield. Chesterfield, I just think that they're a pretty good side. They're well drilled, and I think they've signed a couple of good players this year, so I think they'll do all right. Notts County be up there. MK Dons, they're a brand new team, so I think they'll do well, but I don't think they'll do well enough to win the title. Swindon, just for the same as Dom, they had a good end of last season, and I think they could be dark horses to even get promoted automatically. Colchester don't lose many games, and the Cowleys are good, but they've got a bit of pace about them. Shrewsbury, I put them in because they came down. There's one of the teams that come down. I just think that there's a big difference between League One football, as we've seen in the pre-season friendlies, and League Two. So it was them. And then the dark horses are Walsall, and that's because they've signed Aidan Flint, who I asked Gillingham to sign for 1 year, and I think he will lead them into places that we should be going.
Yeah.
My Gilles predictions of 11th, I've now changed. I think we'll be 20th. Because I'm being Mr. Negative. And pre-season hasn't gone that well, according to everyone else. And again, like Dom, Newport and Harrogate, it's basically based on budget more than anything else. I think they've probably got the 2 lowest budgets in the league. And I think both of them could be in danger of drop. Harrogate, the only thing that may keep them up is their home form. Their home form is really good. And the same with Newport. The only thing that may keep them up is they play on frosted pitches and it's a quite
Hey, you have to get it in. You have to get it in. Why not? Mike, if you're watching, mate, he's in love with you. He's in love with you. It's the only thing I can say. It's the only thing I can say. So, David, we move on to yours, mate. And you've got Chesterfield, MK Dons, Notts County, Salford, Cambridge, Colchester, Crawley, Accrington in 23rd, and Newport in 24th. So, yeah, why?
Well, pretty much the same as the other two for my top 3, really. I thought the MK Dons, like Dom said, have spent crazy money. Chesterfield, I was really impressed with Chesterfield last year. I thought they were a decent side, and I feel like they're going to continue that on. Notts County are always seem to be there or thereabouts. Salford are, again, spending money, good manager. There's always a couple of teams that come down that do good, and I see Cambridge tried to splash some cash the other day on Harry Smith that I saw got rejected. So they've obviously got a bit of money that they're going to want to spend. Again, Colchester well drilled, and Scott Lindsay at Crawley, I think, are going to do well. I did completely forget about Swindon. And after I sent it, I was like, oh, forgot Swindon. Yeah. But I would probably swap them for someone, but I didn't. Yeah. So there. I do think Walsall may have a bit of a hangover. I think last year could really affect Walsall. Don't pin that in case if I'm really wrong, but I've just got a feeling they may have a bit of a hangover after last year. Mm-hmm. The bottom 2 I think they finished 3rd and 4th bottom last year. Newport, I think it's almost a matter of when they go. Again, if it's not this year, it's going to happen soon. Again, crowds, budget. And same with Accrington. They're a bit of they have one good season, have to sell a lot of players and keep starting again. And again, eventually that's going to catch up with them. And I think, this season, those 2 could go. Yeah. And got Gilles in 9th. I think like we said, as long as if we don't sort this goal scoring issue out, I think you can't get into the playoffs if you don't have a goal scorer. Mm-hmm. Hopefully, Palmer Holden, Vokes, Bode, whoever plays in the attacking roles can all chip in with goals. Even if all 3 of them get you 10 goals, it's better than what we've had recently. So that's why I think we're going to slightly miss out this year.
Yeah, it's fair enough. So I'm just going to quickly look at mine. Obviously, I can't see past MK Dons for the top. I put Swindon in 3rd because I think Ian Holloway is not a manager to be sniffed at. He knows what he's doing. I've got Grimsby in 4th. I know this is going to upset some people, but I just think Dave Artell, for me, when we were looking for a manager, he was one of the first names in my head. And I was like, we need to get Dave Artell. Then we ended up getting Gareth Ainsworth. Again, with Colchester, with the Cowley brothers, I think it's good. Coming in for Walsall with Aidan Flint, I think that's just going to elevate them. Notts County, not too sure because I don't know what's going on there. So that could have been any other team. Shrewsbury, for me, going down because notoriously over the last couple of seasons, teams that have come down have then dropped straight back down into the basement. I can't see that being Bristol Rovers and because of the likes of Josh McEachran and Isaac Hutchinson, who is probably one of my favourite players the season before last in League Two when he was at Walsall. It's a process of elimination. I just can't see that they've got enough. I'm not really a massive fan of their manager either. I think he's not actually that good. Michael Appleton, I just think he's just average at best. Wasn't very good at Charlton. Wasn't very good when he was higher up the levels. Newport, probably much of a muttness, the same as you, David, really. I just think that, it's going to be a matter of time for me. So yeah, that's pretty much that. So we are going to quickly touch on our thoughts of the first game of the season against Accrington. So Warren, I'm going to start with you, mate, and your starting lineup and why.
I just basically think it picks itself. You can maybe swap Ogie for Gale. I can't see many others being in a different place. Vokes isn't available, so he's not going to play. I don't think Ainsworth fancies Andrews too much. So I think Bodie and Palmer Holden will play up front. I don't think we'd go too mad. We won't try and although I think Accrington's a good start for us, playing away or playing Accrington first game of the season, I think it's a good start for us. I would expect us to win the game. I would hope that there's a couple of players there that won't play because we've got someone else in.
Mm-hmm. Yep. Fair enough. And Dom, we're going to go with your 11, mate. Obviously, Morris in goal, and then it's a 5-2-1-2, really, isn't it, mate? So what are your thoughts behind that?
Probably similar thoughts to Warren. I think he'll stick with that away from home in the formation wise. I put Johnny Williams in there purely because from what I've been hearing about Little in pre-season, he hasn't really set it alight. And under Ainsworth towards the end of last season, Johnny actually played quite well, a little bit deeper alongside Mackenzie. So I think he might just go back to that maybe, fitness permitting, of course. And I went with Andrews up front purely because, out of the target men we've got available, he's the only one. If he does actually make the first game of the season, whether he'll play the full 90, I doubt it. But I think we will start off with the big man. We'll have the likes of Gabo come off the bench, Nevitt, etc. But I think he will stick to the 5 at the back for the first game of the season, just to not lose the game, if you know what I mean. You won't go. You want to win the game, but just go there not to lose. And I think that formation didn't really let him down the last 12 games. So I think he'll stick with that with the squad we've got at our disposal at the moment.
Fair enough. Yeah, and David, yourself, mate, you've obviously gone for a back 5 as well. Pretty much the same.
Yes, it's not what I would go. It's not what I would pick. I wouldn't pick a back 5, but this is what I think. A bit like Dom said, I think first game you don't want to lose the first game. I hope they go to try and win the game, and it doesn't become a back 5, and it's more of a back 3 with the wing backs actually pushing forward. But again, the only issue is Gale hasn't played for a bit, so again, it could be Ogie for Gale. I think he likes Bode. I think Palmer Holden's going to be a regular this year. I think it always is going to be him +1. And I think we need to get the best. I think if Dak's fit, Dak's had a big pre-season. I think if he's fit this year, he's got to play, and they've got to get the best out of him. And hopefully it starts next Saturday. Yep,
that's it. So mine's a little bit different. Obviously, Aaron Rowe isn't fit, but if he was, then I would have him there. I just like wingers. I like a back 4, and I like true wingers, really. Not too dissimilar in the middle to everyone else. But Aaron Rowe and Joe Bode on the wings, if fit, but I can't see Aaron Rowe being fit after the news I heard yesterday. But it was too late for me to change the graphics, so whatever. So, David, I'm going to hand over to you, mate, so you can explain the View 6 and the new thing that we're going to be doing this season at end of shows.
Yes, and this is no way copying a Sky Sports themed game. So this year, myself, Chris, and Warren will be representing the View from the Medway, and every week prior to the Saturday of the games kicking off, we will be taking on a guest. So this week it's Don. We'll be picking 6 games from League 2. Every week, Gillingham will appear, just because it always is. It's interesting to see what people predict when it's their own team. And again, not like the Sky Sports game, or actually exactly like the Sky Sports game. It'll be 5 points for a correct score, 2 for an outcome, none if you get it wrong. The View from the Medway scores are the first ones. One of the scores is incorrect. We did predict Salford to win 3-1 and not 2-1. So we thought we'd state that before the games go ahead. And Dom's scores are on the right. So Most of them look pretty similar, but I think we need to speak to Dom regarding the MK Dons Oldham game. He's expecting goals in the first game. What are your thoughts on that one?
I just think they'll have a bit too much firepower for Oldham. With their signings, we know they've got a good side. I think they'll get off to a really good start and there's always that one team that puts like a bookmark down the first game, and I think it will be them.
And you got Gilles victory as well.
Yeah, I want to be positive.
Yeah,
unlike
I
us.
want to be positive as
We
well.
would say.
I'm travelling from travelling from Great Yarmouth on the Friday, right, to then go to Norwich, to then go to bloody where is it, Peterborough, to then go to Leeds, to then go to Accrington on the Friday. So I'm hoping for a bloody positive result, but I'm just being erring on the side of caution there.
Well, your ex would be a laugh if we lose 1-0.
Yeah, bloody hell. Yeah, and then driving back.
Yeah, so every week as well, we're keeping you up to date with how the points are working.
Yeah.
So that you guys listening can follow, and then obviously the next game, we'll reach out to whoever's the guest on and ask for their predictions and put ours up as well. So no one can think that we're fixing it so that we win. Want to be open and a bit of fun.
David, could I just ask, because obviously I'm still a little bit, I don't do this bloody Super 6 stuff. So it literally is going to be TVFTM versus guest. So it'll be for example, Dom this week, and then maybe Luke on the first game of the season, and then et cetera, and we see at the end of the season who gets the highest.
Correct.
So yeah, we're going to be losing that.
Only because you're picking 2 of the games.
Well,
Me
we
and
can't
Dave
even
will
get bloody Salford score right, mate.
Exactly, mate.
Yeah. It should be a bit of fun.
Yeah. Yeah, so obviously, like, we've got 1-1 for Accrington. We've got Barnet and Fleetwood, 2-1 Fleetwood. We've got Cambridge 2-1 against Cheltenham. We've got Salford 3-1 against Crewe. And MK Dons 2-0 against Oldham. And then Shrewsbury 1-0 against Bromley. And then Dom's got the same games, but he's gone 2-1 to us. 1-0 against Barnet and Fleetwood. Then Cambridge and Cheltenham, he's gone 2-1 to Cambridge. Salford, he's gone 2-1, the same as us against Crewe. And then Milton, MK Dons, he's gone 4-1. He was probably a little bit drunk when he sent me that message. And then Shrewsbury and Bromley is 2-1 to Shrewsbury. So, yeah, just have to make that known. Because as of Monday next week, I've not got a graphic for it or anything, but we are now going to be in partnership with Sports Social Podcast Network. So all of our RSS feeds and audio for shows will be on there. And we're also going to be on Apple Podcasts as well at some stage, but still trying to work on that one. So, yeah, that's a good thing for us as well. So before we go, boys, is there anything else you would like to add? Any housekeeping? Anything you would like to inspire Gilles fans that may be down in the dumps about pre-season so far? And I'll start with you, Warren.
Yeah, I forget pre-season, right? I'd like to see us put on a performance against Dartford on Saturday before we go into the game at Accrington, just for a bit of confidence. Forget pre-season. The results don't matter. It's what happens on Saturday against Accrington that really counts. Make your judgments after about 5-10 games. But enjoy being with your mates. Enjoy having a laugh. Enjoy having a beer. Don't take life too seriously that it becomes life or death. Enjoy your football. And above all else, support your team. Don't lambast them.
Yeah, and David, yourself?
Yeah, as I said last time, obviously I always miss the start of the season on family holiday, so I'll be watching from abroad. So unlike the previous 2 seasons, I want us to I'd settle for a good August, not a great August, because the manager of the month curse hasn't worked the last 2 years. And as always, I just enjoy going and watch the Gilles no matter what. I think like what Warren said, if your team gets promoted or relegated, they're your team, you're going to be there. It's just, enjoy a good season. my first full season with you guys on the View from the Medway. So looking forward to that. And just make new mates and just enjoy supporting the club.
Yeah, definitely, mate, definitely. And Dom, yourself?
Pretty much what Warren said. Just try and enjoy it. We all have a little moan, but enjoy the moments that are good. I mean, you'll always get through the bad moments in the end, and things can only get better. So just keep going. That's all I can say.
Yeah. So we're pretty much it in then, boys. We will be back on the 4th of August. Is it the Monday? Yeah, 4th of August is on the Monday. We will be back with the Monday assessment, and I can't wait to bring the Monday assessment back actually, because it's been too long. We do these little shows in the summer, but it's nice to get back to the main show. We will be live in the Cricketers. We did a little bit of a test there the other day, myself, David and Warren. It seemed to go really well. So, we will be live there. I think it's myself and Luke teaching at the moment. I'm trying to persuade Warren to go to Accrington. Don't know if he's still going yet or not.
Yeah.
You go?
Not at the moment.
Oh, bloody hell. He's lastminute.com all the time. So, it'll be me and Luke at the moment, and maybe a third. So, if Warren doesn't go, if you want to come on, then that's absolutely fine. But, me and Luke will be at Accrington, so we'll be doing the cricket show on the Monday. David's obviously going on holiday. But thank you for watching. I've been Chris. He's been David. He's been Warren. He's been Dom. Good night, and up Jules.